On September 6th, 2010, Cartoon Network released the very first episode of one of the most beloved animated series of all time, Regular Show. Everyone loves this thing. It's actually really funny, so then why am I making this video? Well, believe it or not, every TV show has to have a worst episode, so today I'll be taking a look at Regular Show's worst rated episode ever. I'm here to find out if this condensed garbage of an episode tarnishes Regular Show's reputation, or if it's actually not even really that bad. Despite the bajillion comments I get saying I sound like Mordecai might have you believe, I haven't actually watched too many episodes of this show before. I'll get to it eventually. I'll watch more episodes one day. But for now, I'll be explaining everything that happens in this bad episode in depth, while also giving a rookie's perspective on what I think about the show. Also, I'm actually going to be watching the 2 lowest rated episodes, since every episode is only like 20 minutes long or something, and I'd like for this video to be longer than a modern Call of Duty campaign. Are these episodes really as bad as people say they are? Do you think these episodes ruined Regular Show's no bad episode streak? Well, grab your copy of Sonic Rush for the Nintendo DS to find out, because it's time to dive into what some people call a no longer flawless TV record, the episode that ruined Regular Show. Wait, what's this? Mordecai and Rigby are playing today's sponsor. Huge shout out to Honkai Star Rail for sponsoring today's video. Honkai Star Rail is a new multi-platform galactic fantasy RPG from Hoyoverse, the makers of Genshin Impact. A free cross-platform RPG, the game can be played on PC, PS5, and mobile devices with shared data between all platforms. This is epic. Okay, you can play this game wherever you are. There's a lot to explore with this game, with more than 40 playable characters, each with their own unique personality, backstory, and charm, such as the new playable characters Firefly and Sam. Firefly and Sam are fire-type destruction characters, which sounds pretty cool, I think. Firefly puts on a mechanical combat suit and adopts Sam's identity when entering battle. There's also another new character by the name of Jade. Jade is a quantum-type erudition character. In battle, her cane transforms into a whip to lash out at enemies, and she uses her high heels to stomp on foes when unleashing her ultimate. If it sounds really cool, it's because it is. Also, in version 2.3, there will be new events such as a simulated universe season and the arcade where players can take on the role of origami birds and engage in a match 3 gameplay against opponents. A free 10 pull is waiting. Log in for 7 days to receive 10 Star Rail special passes. Use them to pull for Firefly and Sam and Jade. So remember guys, if you want to experience these brand new characters alongside everything else Honkai Star Rail version 2.3 has to offer, use the link I've provided in the description. I've also put a code in there and on the screen now, which when redeemed will give you 50 Stellar Jade. Once again, a massive thank you to Honkai Star Rail for sponsoring today's video and providing people with the opportunity to experience something completely new. This first episode is called Wall Buddy. This is the worst rated episode about Mordecai and Rigby specifically. These two are usually pretty awesome together. Hopefully this doesn't suck. Our adventure begins with Rigby viciously mewing on a shirt, then all of a sudden getting up and screaming the word chimichanga. This is somehow the least chaotic Regular Show episode so far. The boys decided chimichanga sounds pretty good right now, so Rigby decides to search for something special on his side of the room, which I should probably mention is completely filled with garbage. I gotta say real quick, from experience, usually the lowest rated episodes in cartoons end up being the lowest rated for 2 specific reasons. It usually ends up being because it's either some kind of torture episode, so like if Rigby just tied Mordecai up to an electric chair for fun or something, that'd be kind of weird and people would hate that. Or it's usually because the episode is just really gross for no reason. The worst SpongeBob episodes are notorious for this, and judging by the first minute of this episode so far, it's not looking good. Anyway, Rigby finds what he was looking for, which was these 2 hats with the text, "It's chimichanga time."
Oh yeah, it's chimichanga time!
Do they have a different hat for every food that they eat? Because that would be a lot of hats. We then skip over to Benson, which is my personal favorite Regular Show character, since I find his unhinged anger at the world very relatable, and also, I like bubblegum. Benson's looking for his cell phone, but just can't seem to find it. And then out of nowhere, Skip shows up and mentions that Mordecai and Rigby might have it for some reason. Maybe they just really wanted to play Subway Surfers or something. I don't know. Also, I'm not going to spend the time to explain every character here. Okay, this show's pretty popular. I'm guessing everyone already knows these guys. So Benson and Skips now check out Rigby and Mordecai's room, which is completely covered in garbage. I thought of making a joke about Asmongold's room here, but I'll be honest, his room is actually way worse than the one in this TV show.
What are you talking? That's obviously Wendy's chili.
Anyway, Benson finds his phone, but he gets super angry about it because I guess it's covered in filth, which is when Mordecai and Rigby are back from their chimichanga adventure. Them getting food could have been an entire episode on its own, honestly. I kind of wanted to see that. They enter the room and Benson is still super mad because I guess that's his whole thing. He's just angry all the time. But I suppose it is a little warranted this time around, considering there's a whopping 7 dirty pizza boxes and 17 empty soda cans laying around. And yes, I counted. Benson lets the boys know they have to clean up the room ASAP, but Mordecai feels a little betrayed since most of it seems to be Rigby's mess.
Mordecai's even worse. Look at all his junk in the corner.
Dude,
His
that's
bed?
my bed.
I don't
care.
That's what I
who's
said.
responsible.
Oh god, maybe I am like Mordecai.
Room.
Also, I have to mention this. During this scene, there's a shot where Rigby's hat has a typo in it. And like, don't get me wrong, I have typos in literally all my videos. Okay, it happens. But also, this is the first time I actually catch one of these mistakes myself. So yeah, get good. L plus ratio. So the idea of this entire episode is that Mordecai and Rigby have to clean this room or else they straight up get evicted from the building, proving that even in a world of fiction, landlords abuse their power regularly. Mordecai tells Rigby to clean everything since it's his mess. Rigby retaliates by saying, no, I don't want to. You can do it if you want. The two go back and forth for like 3 minutes straight. It kind of gets dragged on for a bit, I'm not gonna lie. They even make a bet playing garbage hoops, which is totally referenced in the new season of The Boys. Shout out to everyone watching The Boys. That one episode was crazy. The loser of this bet has to clean everything, but even when Rigby loses, he doesn't really clean anything at all. Instead, he just pushes all the garbage under Mordecai's bed and in between the sheets. Obviously, this is probably the stupidest thing any cartoon character could do in this scenario, because of course Mordecai finds the garbage like almost immediately. That's where he sleeps. Obviously, he's gonna find out. During this time, Rigby was gone getting another chimichanga, I guess, but this time he doesn't have his hat on. He must have realized it had a typo and contacted Wish for a full refund or something. Anyway, jokes aside, when Rigby gets back, the garbage is completely on his side of the room now. I think that means Mordecai grabbed all the garbage from under his bed and put it on Rigby's side of the room. This obviously comes after Rigby moved all the garbage under his bed in the first place. I'm not gonna lie, these two used up like 4 times the amount of energy needed to do this job. They definitely could have just finished the job an hour ago, but they keep moving it back and forth, so.
Quit being a baby and clean it up.
You quit being a baby and clean it up!
I just know it smells like a
Lettuce,
Smash Bros
tomato,
tournament in there.
cucumber.
This is when Benson shows up again, and you'll never guess, he's still super mad. Shocking. I know. Mordecai again tells Rigby to clean everything since it's Rigby's mess. Instead of that, though, Rigby decides to watch some TV, which is when he sees an ad for something called a wall buddy. If you remember correctly, Wall Buddy is the name of this episode, and it only took half of this episode's runtime to finally show it to us. Anyway, what the wall buddy actually is some mechanical AI wall, I guess. Essentially, it's a wall that can move around and place itself through voice commands. If you're like, go over there, it just like goes over there, pretty much. It doesn't have any actual voice recognition, so anyone who speaks to it can control it. Surely this won't be a major flaw that's exploited in this episode. Also, you'd think Rigby would just buy like a vacuum or something, but no, let's get the regenerative wall that's probably a fire hazard. That'll fix the problem. So yeah, Rigby gets it and splits the room in half, putting all the garbage on Mordecai's side of the room. Mordecai shows up and is like, actually,
no.
So they immediately fight back and forth over control of the wall buddy. The wall moves around really quickly since both of them are yelling at it, and eventually the wall buddy even malfunctions to the point where it just keeps expanding without stopping. Even when the boys constantly yell at it to make it stop, nothing works.
Wall buddy, stop subdividing!
While the wall buddy is trying to take over the world, Mordecai and Rigby argue about the mess again. This part is kind of weird because Rigby basically guilt trips Mordecai into apologizing, even though Mordecai didn't really do anything wrong at all. The implication here is that Mordecai told Benson earlier that the garbage was all of Rigby's mess, which like, it was. I guess Rigby feels like betrayed because they're supposed to be bros or something. But they only ever make up from this giant argument of an episode because Mordecai says sorry, even though he's got nothing to be sorry for. Terrific. Anyway, so now they love each other again, so they somehow catch up to the wall buddy and turn it off by punching it really hard. I'm not kidding. Thankfully, this also reverts all the expanding it did earlier and got rid of all the garbage somehow. Not really sure how, it just did, I guess.
So who can I fire for all the damage you two did to the park?
Nice. So all of it was for nothing. And that was the second lowest rated regular show episode of all time. Other than being kind of boring, I wouldn't really say this episode is that bad. The hatred mostly comes from Mordecai apologizing for literally no reason at all. And also, regular show usually has these over-the-top crazy problems in its episodes, but in this one, it's basically just an argument over like some garbage, so. But really, regular show's episodes have such high quality that even its worst episodes aren't really that bad. Or are they? Because now that I've eased you into this video, it's time to take a look at the actual lowest rated regular show episode of all time. This episode that people seem to hate is called Bald Spot. If you've already seen this episode before, you probably know why people say it's bad. This episode begins with Muscle Man in a barber shop getting a haircut. He's getting ready to look good since today is his 1-year anniversary with Starla. I don't know much about these two, to be honest, but they both look super similar, which in cartoons, of course, means they have to be dating or something. Can't have the weird green guy dating the red bird. That would be way too weird for this show. Anyway, everything is going well until Muscle Man's worst nightmare becomes a reality. Turns out he has a bald spot. Terrifying. I know. This is the main issue of this episode. Muscle Man has a bald spot and he's scared that if Starla sees it, she'll dump him right away. It sounds like these two have a very sincere relationship. A little later, Benson sees the bald spot, which magically changes spots, by the way. This scene is kind of pointless, but it does further prove that Benson is the best character in the entire cast.
Punching the wall isn't gonna grow it back.
I already tried.
Benson's the best, dude. Can you imagine Benson with hair? That would be cursed. So now Muscle Man tries a couple things to hide the bald spot, which takes up the bulk of this episode. He tries a comb over, which has been proven time and time again to only make people laugh at you more. Never do this. He tries this like spray paint hair thing, I think is what it is. It kind of works for a bit, but it almost immediately falls off his head in some like slimy, weird way. Is this an actual hair product, by the way? Does the anti-bald spray exist? I'm genuinely curious. Let me know. Mordecai and Rigby show up and call Muscle Man bald, which like, am I the crazy one for thinking that having a bald spot and being bald is two completely different things? Doesn't seem that bad, to be honest. Muscle Man also has an actual mental breakdown and then rolls away. The next scene is just Muscle Man thinking of this hypothetical scenario where he gets dumped over having a bald spot. Not gonna lie, this part is actually pretty funny. It made me laugh.
Police! Arrest my ex. He's bald.
Yeah, hello, bald department? I've got one. This is when a character named High Five Ghost appears. What a weird name. Is that actually his name? I don't know. He very rationally explains that Starla probably won't actually care about the bald spot, and Muscle Man should just chill out for a bit with some Zaza. Muscle Man says that all he really has going for him is his good looks and huge muscles. The meme here is that Muscle Man is actually super ugly and has basically 0% muscle mass anywhere on his body. I'm not sure if his name is supposed to be ironic or if there's an actual story about how he used to be like super ripped in his 20s or something. If you know the answers, again, let me know because I'm curious. But then we get the most cursed moment in the story so far and a mental image you will never be able to forget. Muscle Man flexes his pecs. He does it really hard and he does it for a while. It's just really weird to look at. His big plan is to flex his pecs whenever he's with Starla to distract her from his bald spot. If she's looking down here, she's not looking up there. If she's that easily distracted, he could have probably just worn like a silly shirt or something, but I digress. So it's date night now and everyone's at this roller rink. Muscle Man shows up without a shirt on and starts flexing right away. This has to be some sort of health violation, but whatever. Starla actually falls for this bait and gets completely distracted by this. She doesn't notice the bald spot at all.
You look a little tired.
No, I don't. I look normal. See?
Oh, don't pop.
Hey, where you going?
Don't pop. But of course there has to be a new problem. And I'm not kidding here. The new problem is that Muscle Man is getting tired from flexing the whole night. So he needs to go to the bathroom to relax. But while there, he flexes so hard that you might actually think his pecs are about to straight up explode or something. Like, it's not fun to look at. The sound is disturbing. I don't like this.
Come on. Come on.
But then, again, turns out Muscle Man flexed so hard that his chest is now glowing and in a state of constant flexing by themselves. It doesn't really make much sense and reminds me of the wall buddy from the first episode, except instead of AI, it's just straight up like dark magic or something. He can't stop them from flexing, he can't stop them from glowing, it's just really weird. Despite this, he decides he has no choice but to dance with Starla anyway. Little does he know, however, that his magical pecs now have the power to make every woman within a 30-mile radius fall completely in love with him. That, or he has Taylor Swift concert tickets in his pocket. It's one of the two. Every girl wants him and is following him, every guy hates him and wants to beat him up. There's this big scene where everyone fights and there's no staff in this place to stop it, I guess. This one guy tries to punch Muscle Man, but I'm not kidding, his hand gets disintegrated when he tries. Muscle Man and Starla argue for a bit. There's another animation mistake where Starla's lipstick doesn't appear for one shot, despite being in every other shot in the episode. Eventually, Muscle Man has only one option, and that's to tell the truth, which is that he's actually balding.
I'm bald.
Everyone's like, yo, I don't love this guy anymore. He's bald as shit. The fighting stops immediately, and the guy who lost his hand earlier somehow has it back. This might be a mistake, honestly. Everyone is super disgusted with Muscle Man's bald spot. Everyone but Starla, turns out. Which means all of this was basically for nothing. She doesn't actually care, and also turns out Muscle Man isn't even actually balding at all. He just got a bad haircut from the guy at the very beginning and just never knew. So like, actually nothing here mattered at all. The episode ends with the two making out, and what I can only imagine is a super awkward moment for every kid watching at home.
So I guess we'll just catch you guys later.
And that was the worst regular show episode ever, apparently. I definitely think this is the worst episode of the show that I've watched so far, but I also haven't watched too much of regular show, so I don't know. People obviously hate it because 1, it focuses on Muscle Man, who's kind of annoying sometimes. 2, the episode seems pretty low stakes and nothing of substance really happens at all, as far as I know. And 3, the flexing pecs, just, they're so weird, they're hard to look at. I could have sworn they were gonna explode. Why would they do this? But even through all that, was it actually even that bad? Honestly, like I said, this show is so good most of the time that I'm assuming even its lowest rated episodes are still decent. Are these episodes winning any awards? Probably not. But did these episodes actually ruin regular show? I guess in the context of being a perfect TV show and only having 10 out of 10s, it did. But let's be honest, guys, this show still rocks, okay? If you hate these episodes that much, you can just skip them. Easy peasy. But yeah, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, leave a like and comment. It helps the channel out a bunch. If you have $1 to spare, consider becoming a member. It helps support the channel and allows me to make more of these videos. There is exclusive member content coming soon. Thank you to all my current members. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll make a private Discord for all you guys eventually. Paula Abdul scores this one a solid bald spot out of 5. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Look at all his junk in the corner.